So I wanted to have this conversation about addiction today. That's why I brought my Black and Mild with me today. All right. I've been addicted to this Black and Mild for a very long time. I mean, from a young age, I've been smoking these Black and Milds. And when I started smoking them, it was really just to be cool. You know what I mean? I didn't really know the effects of a Black and Mild. I really didn't even know how to smoke them. I didn't know how to inhale the smoke or none of that. For me, it was just about being cool. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be cool. I wanted to fit in with the crew. You know what I mean? Eventually, as I kept smoking the Black and Milds, I learned how to smoke them. And then once I learned how to smoke them, I started to like the way they made me feel, right? And as time goes on, it became a coping mechanism for me, right? Anytime something went wrong in my life, anytime I was angry or upset about anything, I felt like I needed to go get a Black and Mild. And after that, that's when the addiction kicked in. That's when it became anything I do important, I need a Black and Mild. If I got an interview coming up, I gotta smoke a Black and Mild to, cool the jitters down. If I gotta have an important conversation with somebody, I gotta have me a Black and Mild, right? It became an addiction, right? And because everybody around me was smoking Black and Milds, I never looked at these like an addiction. I never looked at it like a problem because everybody around me was doing it. So I never was able to see the problem, right? So when it comes to addiction, we have to see the problem. You have to call it what it is. What helped me kick these Black and Milds, and now granted, I still smoke them, as you can see. I haven't fully kicked my addiction, so I'm working on it in real time, just like you guys. But what helped me fight against this addiction is I had to start calling it what it is, an addiction. As long as you run from it, as long as you make excuses for your addiction, as long as you're not calling it what it really is, you're gonna still be stuck with that addiction. You have to start calling it what it really is, an addiction. Nobody wants to be called an addict. I get it, right? For a long time, I didn't want nobody calling me no addict. I said the same thing that you guys say. I'm not addicted to Black and Milds. I can quit whenever I want to. Black and Milds don't control my life, but the truth was they really do control my life. And I didn't start realizing that until when I became honest with myself, right? I had to be honest with myself and just call it what it is. It's an addiction, bro. You are addicted to Black and Milds. You are addicted to tobacco. I had to look myself in the mirror and I had to be honest with myself. That's when I was able to cut back on my Black and Milds. I mean, I went from smoking Black and Mild at lunch, Black and Mild at dinner, wake up, have a Black and Mild for breakfast, to now I rarely smoke them. Now I only smoke them when an occasion is coming up, when it's somebody's birthday, I might want a cigar or something. I don't smoke them nearly as much as I used to. Now granted, I'm still addicted because I'm still smoking them. So I'm still fighting just like you guys. But what helped me out is when I just was honest with myself and just called it an addiction. You have to call it what it is. It's an addiction. You are addicted. When you start calling it what it is, now you have to think about it and process it before you do it. So now before I go light up my Black and Mild, I actually think about it now because I called it what it is. It's an addiction. So now I have to think it through. Now I have to say to myself, do you really need that Black and Mild? Do you really want to go smoke that Black and Mild? It's a difference now because I recognize what it is. It's an addiction. So if you're dealing with an addiction, you have to call it what it is. You can't keep trying to make excuses for it. Don't try to normalize it. I know a lot of times in my generation, we like to normalize things, right? We like to normalize our trauma, right? We like to hang with other people who've been through the same type of trauma because it makes us feel like it's normal, right? If you went through something and I went through something, now we both went through it, so it's not as bad. We like to normalize it. We have to stop normalizing our trauma. We have to stop normalizing addiction, all right? Don't normalize it. Call it what it is. It's an addiction, right? When I would go around people who didn't smoke Black and Milds, quick story time. I was in the club one night celebrating my birthday. We was in a nightclub and I was with some friends of mine, right? Now these friends did not smoke Black and Milds, right? It was a couple fellas, a couple ladies. We were in the club having a great time. I go to pull out my Black and Mild. Everybody looked at me like, whoa, bro, you about to spark that right now? They like, man, that Black and Mild stinks. Don't spark that in here, man. We having a good time. We got our good clothes on. It's gonna kill the vibe, man. Just go smoke it over there somewhere. Do you know how that made me feel? It made me feel like, damn, this black and mild really causing this much of an issue? But what it was, I'm not around people who are doing what I was doing. I was smoking black and milds. The people around me wasn't smoking them. So I smoke a black and mild and I can't smell it, right? It's just like when you smoke cigarettes. You might smoke a cigarette, you don't know how bad that cigarette smells unless you are a person who don't smoke them. When you don't smoke cigarettes and somebody just smoked a cigarette and they come around you, man, that thing stinks. You can smell it, right? So now that I'm around people who are not smoking black and milds, it made me feel some type of way, right? So that'll be number 2 I would give you, is you gotta get away from people who are doing what you're trying to get away from, right? If you're an alcoholic, if you're somebody who has a drinking problem, you gotta get away from your drinking buddies, right? You gotta stop hanging out with people who are gonna normalize your behavior, right? If you're with a person who also has a drink in the morning, also has a drink in the afternoon, also has a drink at night, how can you ever kick your addiction? You're gonna normalize it because they do it and you do it. Now it's normal. Now nothing wrong with having a drink. When I was with people who love to smoke black and milds, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. It was until I got around people who didn't smoke black and milds who would look at me sideways like, bro, why you pulling out that black and mild? We having a good time. You don't need that black and mild. It's gonna kill the vibe. It's gonna have the room stinking. Go over there and smoke that. That's when I start to realize, hey, maybe these black and milds ain't as cool as I thought they once was. Stop telling yourself you have control over it. The more you lie to yourself and say you can quit at any time, the more you lie to yourself and say it's normal, the more you lie to yourself and say you have the power over the alcohol, you're never gonna be able to kick the addiction. Once you're honest with yourself and you say, you know what, I am an alcoholic. You know what, I am addicted. You know what, I do need to quit. When you do that, then you give yourself the power. You take the power out of the hands of your addiction. So you gotta be honest with yourself, right? Call it what it is. Nobody likes to be called an addict. I don't like to be called an addict. I'm sure you don't like to be called an addict. But we have to call it what it is. If you can't go 2-3 days without having a drink, you're an alcoholic. Call it what it is. That way you can heal. That way you can fix the problem. Don't keep lying to yourself. Don't keep normalizing it, all right? If you're a person who has sex 1, 2, 3 times a day with multiple partners, if you're somebody who's watching porn all the time, if you're somebody who's masturbating all the time, you have to call it what it is. You are addicted. You are addicted to sex. Call it what it is. Now, I ain't gonna lie, before I say this, I know I might lose some of y'all, right? When I say this, some of y'all gonna hit the end button on the video. Some of y'all gonna tell me to get out of here. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Before you go, just bear with me, all right? I got a point to make. Just bear with me, all right? Because I know when I say this, it's gonna hurt some feelings. It's gonna aggravate some of y'all. It's gonna upset some of y'all. But if you a person who is smoking marijuana every single day, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to tell the truth. You are addicted to the marijuana. Wait. Don't hit that end button, all right? Hear me out. Now, I get it. Weed don't have the same effects on your body like alcohol might have. It don't have the same effects on your body like tobacco, like my addiction, right? It's not the same as watching too much porn, because weed is from the earth, right? Weed doesn't, mess your body up as much as alcohol and these other addictions. But when you're constantly doing it every single day, like I know people who gotta smoke before they eat. I know people who gotta smoke or they can't sleep. All right, I know people who can't go 2 or 3 days without smoking weed. That's when I knew that marijuana was an addiction. It wasn't what it did when you smoked it, right? For me, I saw marijuana as an addiction when I saw what it did for people who smoked every day, and then when they go a couple days without it, right? That stress that it caused you, right? Again, like I said, some people can't eat without smoking. Some people can't sleep without smoking. Some people can't have a good time without smoking. So that's when I knew it was an addiction, right? Now, some of you high rollers, y'all might not understand that because y'all always got money for weed. But when you in the struggle, right, where I'm at, you know what I'm talking about, right? When it's Wednesday and you got payday on Friday and you can't get no weed for 2 days, you know what I'm talking about. People whole demeanor change, all right? Their attitude change, they irritated, right? They don't want to talk to nobody. That's when I knew that this marijuana thing was indeed an addiction, okay? So you have to be honest with yourself with all your addictions, even marijuana. Marijuana is indeed an addiction. And you have to realize that, all right? Watching too much porn, it's indeed an addiction, all right? Masturbating too much, having too much sex, right? Smoking cigarettes every day, smoking Black and Milds, any form of tobacco, that is an addiction. Alcohol, drinking too much alcohol is an addiction, all right? You got to be honest with yourself. Nobody likes to be called an addict. I don't like to be called an addict. But the moment I started being real with myself, the moments that I started saying exactly what it was, it helped me get better with my addiction. Now I think things through, right? Now I have to process before I go take a hit of that Black and Mild. Do I really want this Black and Mild? Is it really worth it? Am I really getting better, right? I have to have these conversations with myself because I was honest with myself about my addiction. It's time for us to be honest about our addictions. That's the best way to heal, the best way to correct it. The first step to correcting it is just be honest. Call it what it is. It's an addiction. I drink too much. It's an addiction. I smoke too much cigarettes or tobacco. It's an addiction. I watch too much porn. It's an addiction. I'm having sex entirely too much. It's an addiction. I'm masturbating too much. It's an addiction. When you're honest with yourself, now before you turn that porn on, you have to think about it, right? It hit different when you're honest with yourself because now you have to have the conversation with yourself. Am I really addicted? Do I really need to watch this porn? Do I really need to have this drink? Do I really need to smoke every morning? Do I need to? You have to have that conversation with yourself when you're honest, okay? So be honest with yourself is rule number one to beating addiction. Call it what it is. It's an addiction. Rule number two, you have to separate yourself from people who are still doing your addiction. You don't want to be tempted. You want to get around new people. And rule number three, last but not least, once you realize it's an addiction, and if you feel like you can't help yourself on your own, get professional help. I'm gonna make sure I leave some numbers down in the description, some websites to help people with addiction. If you can't fix it yourself, make sure you get that professional help that you need, all right? Once again, y'all, I wanna thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking this video out. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you drop a comment, leave a like, share this video with a friend, and please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We out of here.